What is a Zionist? This question is sure to get lots of vitriol and hatred and anger and extremism all coming to this video, guaranteed. But what is a Zionist ultimately? What is Zionism? Whatever your definition is, it should be able to be boiled down to what it actually is. The reality of Zionism, the reality of Zionists. It simply means someone who believes that the Jewish people, the Israelites, the nation of Israel, has a right to its own homeland, has a right to live in its indigenous ancestral homeland, in the Holy Land that was promised to it by God in the Torah, in the Christian Bible, and in the Muslim Quran. Everywhere. It's very clear that the land was promised to the Israelites, and the idea that there should be any Jewish state, modern Jewish state, so that there should be an ingathering of exiles, which is what all the prophets' book calls for. The prophets' books all call for and prophecy that there will be a redemption, a ingathering of the exiles from the four corners of the world. And so this prophecy coming true is the essence of Zionism. It's simply nationalism for the Jewish people. It is the right to have a nation, the right to have a state. And it comes from the word Zion. Zion in Hebrew is Zion, and it means Yerushalayim, also known as Al-Quds. The Arabic Al-Quds comes from Beit al-Maqdis. It is a shortening of Al-Maqdis, which is the Mikdash. This is a Hebrew word originally, and Mikdash is a temple. It's talking about how Jerusalem was the home of the Israelite temples that stood for 1,000 years. There was the first temple, which was built by King Solomon, and the second temple, which was built by Ezra and Nehemiah essentially in that time period, and then refurbished by King Herod the Great, the Roman, only for it to be destroyed some decades later in 70 CE or AD. So Zion is about Jerusalem. It is about the holiness of Jerusalem. What does it mean, a Mikdash? We said Al-Quds comes from Al-Maqdis, and Maqdis comes from Mikdash, and Mikdash is temple. What does this word actually mean? Mikdash is from the word Kodesh. Kodesh means holy. Literally, holiness is set apart for a specific purpose, for God. So something that is holy is something that has been set apart for a specific purpose. That is why the nation of Israel is called a holy nation. Not because people don't make mistakes and mess up and there aren't bad people among every nation. There are. But because it was set apart. If you read the Bible, you see the whole story of how the Israelites came to be. They came to be through God saying, I want to have a specific lineage that came straight from Noah through Shem, through Arpachshad, a whole lineage of people, and God puts Abraham's parents in Ur-Kasdim, Ur of the Chaldees, which is between the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers in the Iraq area, the Fertile Crescent. And from there, the king of that land marries into Abraham's family, and from there, they start to marry within their little family until it spirals out and becomes the nation of Israel with the 12 tribes. And now there is the nation of Israel. Among them are the Jews, who come from mostly the tribe of Judah, but also Israelites in general are called Jews now because we come from Judea, which was the kingdom of Judea. A little bit of a longer story, but there's another short clip on this you can watch if you want more on that topic. So Zionists are basically Jews who are educated and know about their tradition and know about the connection between Judaism and Israel, which, of course, throughout the entire Bible and throughout all the prayers and throughout all the holy books, Israel is a central part of the Jewish experience and of the reason that God created the Israelite nation, to give this land to the Israelites, for them to settle there. Why? because it is at a very, very important point, a meeting point between Europe and Asia and Africa. And God wants his nation that he created there. He gave all these laws and traditions that form the basis of Western morality and Eastern morality, frankly. The basis of what we know to be bad and good, right and wrong, comes from the Bible, which was the main book and the most best-selling book ever in history, but it is how literacy spread throughout the world. It was once that the Israelites were the most literate by far on the globe because we had Hebrew, the holy language given to Abraham, who was known as the Hebrew. For more on this, I'll link another video on Hebrew. But most of the world was not literate, and then through the spreading of the Bible, through Christianity, through Jesus, is how we got literacy spread throughout the world. Even the Quran, already in the 7th century, is not even written by Muhammad, who's not literate. Most people were not literate. Anyway, all that to say, please do not demonize quote-unquote Zionists or Zionism, because all it is Jewish people who are educated and who know about their tradition. And that is simply a fact. So now that you know, you're welcome to ask questions. Just know that there is no reason to hate people just for them believing that they have the rights that literally every other nation in the world has. However, it's even more important not to hate the Israelites because they are the people that God chose. They are the people that God chose to give all the laws of the Bible to, which is a great burden. But more basically, they are the nation that God chose to form with his hand very intentionally in order to place them specifically in the land of Israel. And the fact that there were exiles is just part of the Israelite experience. But the Israelites, the Jews, never stopped for a minute, praying every single day, many times a day, for the return to Mount Zion. And that is why from all around the world, Jews pray towards Jerusalem, towards Al-Quds, towards Quds. That is where Jews from all around the world pray to. Nobody else does that. That is because it is the land that is holy to the Israelites and the land that God gave to the Israelites. We all pray towards that holy place that was given to us by God. No other people has that claim, and this is simply the fact of reality. God is true, the Bible is true, and the Jewish people are true. So please don't hate us, and please get away from people who are trying to convince you to be filled with hate and rage and violence against the people of Israel.